to stay.
Hello and welcome back to Beyond Boards, a podcast dedicated to the actions and interests of skaters beyond skateboarding. My guest today, Lisa Whitaker, grew up in Norwalk, California, where she picked up her first board at the age of 10 in 1985. In the late 80s and early 90s, she started filming her friends and putting out her own videos, while also traveling all over North America to enter skate competitions. In the early 2000s, as Lisa was filming many talented women skaters, she decided to launch The Side Project, a website to easily access all this footage, which quickly changed its name to the Girls Skate Network, a platform which has since then significantly contributed to push and support women's skateboarding all over the world. In 2012, Lisa started Meow Skateboards with some of her close friends, and today, nearly 15 years in, the brand is alive and well and keeps pushing women's skateboarding to reach new heights. So here's my conversation with Lisa. I hope you'll enjoy it. All right, so I have a very first question here from Poe Pinson. She asked you, did you ever imagine girl skating or whatever would be as popular and as accepted as it is?
No, I guess not. Always hoped it would be, but I think I've been skating close to 40 years now.
Damn,
and I've seen it, and I've seen it go through a couple different. There's been some peaks and valleys and different things go through, but, there's been a couple times where it's like, oh, things are changing, this is it, and then there'll be another drop, and then and then the next generation will come around. It's like, okay, no, this is it. It's going to be like things are changing, there's going to be more opportunities, and then it go back down. But this time it definitely feels different. It is different, and I don't think there's any going back from here. It's just going up.
No, for sure. Yeah.
Especially with people like Poe. Leeway.
Yeah.
Love you, Poe.
She was on Meow right before she transitioned to there. I don't remember when that was, a couple years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago. I don't remember when she switched from Meow to there, but...
Yeah, she was, since she was like a little kid at her own park, a little Florida kid, and to see where she's grown now, it's been amazing.
Do you remember how you first heard about her? Like, did she send you a sponsor me tape, or did someone just tell you about her? Like, do you remember how you first kind of heard about her?
I'm just, I just always watching skating, always watching. I think I just saw her on Instagram and just saw the level of like board control she had, even just so young. And at the time, I was working with Mimi Noop, and we were doing a bunch of the contest selection committee for some of the events. And I just saw the potential in her, and when just reached out and asked if she had any interest in doing any of the events. And Poe's an interesting one. I think she was about 14 at the time, and this was for Do Tour in Long Beach, which was one of the first. I think it counted toward the Olympic qualifier or something.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was one of the World Skate events. So even though it was in the States, you needed to have a passport just to be entered into their system and to enter.
Right.
And she didn't have a passport yet. So I was I was DMing, talking, and then texting for a bit, trying to see if she could get a passport in time and doing all these things. And then at one point I had to stop, and I was like, wait a minute, how old are you? And she was like, 14. It's like, oh, I should probably be talking to your parent. Parent. And but she was just so mature for her age and just so
motivated and
Love Poe and Kenny and her dad Kenny.
All right. The next one I have is from Monica Shaw, who was part of the, I don't know how you say that in English, Galas, right, okay. Which you were a part of. Also, you were sponsored by them, from what I understood, and you filmed for their video from 2003, aka Girl Skater. Monica asked, who taught and inspired you to be the mother of all women and non-traditional skaters? Where does this nurturing side come from?
Monica, I miss you. I don't know. Just
natural?
Just happened naturally.
Organically? Yeah.
Yeah. It's been a long time since I've seen Monica. I think we're due for a visit soon.
All right. Well, this one is from Leo Baker, an important part of Meow. He said, who filmed your 1994 video part?
Pretty sure majority of that Anthony Acosta filmed. And Van Nguyen, probably those two.
He also asked, what was your favorite skate spot growing up?
I loved 7th Street in San Pedro, like the hip there. That was always one of my favorite spots. In Newark, just like the city hall, there was this manual pad that we used to skate. That was like the local spot. But then when we started exploring more, the spots around Long Beach, probably Belmont Ledges and 7th Street. And then, just a bunch of schoolyards all around LA in the early 90s when they were low enough for me to get on the on the seat part, skate those, and those were probably some of my favorite spots back then.
And Leo also asked, best memory skating Chafee.
I don't know if I have a best memory, but I do have a memory where it's like there were so many of us skating there, and I think I was filming. My camera bag was on the other side, and then I think it was a bus, and some people came, but everyone fled in all different directions. But my camera bag was on the other side, so pretty sure I got a ticket that day on that spot.
Okay.
I have good memories just filming there. There was always just a good crew of people there.
Mm-hmm.
And just like good memories with those friends skating those spots.
And same as for Leo, do you remember first meeting with him back in the day? How he got on Meow? Was that also hearing about him through other people, or just seeing some footage, or do you remember how that connection started?
It seems like most of these kids I tend to meet when they're around 13 years old, 13, 14, same with 13, 14, Poe, Leo, Vanessa. It seems to be like the age where I met a lot of them. I think it was early 2000s, probably around 2004. It made a video, Villa Villa Cola Getting Nowhere Faster.
Oh yeah,
and
right, yeah.
I think I had an advanced copy, like a rough edit, and my memory's a little hazy, but there was a contest, I believe in Torrance at I just heard about some contest and went to go watch. I think a couple people skating it, but Leo was there skating that contest. I think it was more for kids who were coming up, and Leo won, and the prize was a trip to the Globe Gallus World Cup in Australia.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
I think I was sent out to Australia for this Fuel TV show, GKA, to film the contest, and we did a road trip afterwards. Just filmed an episode. So after the contest, there was maybe a gymnasium or something next door that had a TV, and we did a very, very private premiere of the video for a couple people, and Leo was there and just asked wanted to join us, and so met there. But then a couple months later again in Australia,
mm-hmm.
And then after that I would just go pick him up every weekend and take him skating, and that was long before Meow started.
Yeah, I was gonna say that because Meow started in 2012, right?
Yeah. So it was easily a decade before that started. We were just always skating together. Because they didn't live that far. They were probably 20, 30 minutes away from me. So I'd just always go pick them up.
Well, you mentioned this guy a few minutes ago, Anthony Acosta. I shared a couple questions. All right, so he said it would trip me out how far she would skate before she had a car. She would skate miles every day to work, and this was when wheels were pretty small. She would skate to the nearest shop in La Mirada to get the latest skate videos. It was miles away. She always had the newest videos as soon as they came out. And that's something a bunch of people actually told me about, that you had like a pretty impressive like video collection. Or I was wondering if you could just tell us about that. Is that something you started kind of collecting early on, or?
Yes, very. I was definitely, skate videos got me hooked very early on, and I was always in search of like the next skate video. You know, they didn't come out as often back then, and there was a skate shop in La Mirada, I believe Spectrum Sports, that they would rent the VHSs.
Oh yeah.
So like I'd rent them and dub them, and
do you remember the very first one you ever saw? The very first skate video? I think you might have said that in other interviews, but I can't remember right now.
I got the Pal Peralta public domain, and banned it, and then shortly after I banned this kind of writer, and then H Street. So
that's like late 80s, right? Like between 85 and 88, around there, I'd say.
Yeah, I probably got around 88, 89 is probably when I started watching the skate. 87, 88 probably.
And you had started a couple years before, right? I think I read somewhere it was 85, but you maybe started like more seriously a couple years later or something.
Yeah, it's all a blur, the exact timeline, but I think like, I had a board probably that barely rolled from the swap meet, probably around 85, and then probably around 86 got a action sports kamikaze board from like a big box store, I think Price Club.
Mm-hmm.
And then around 87 is when I got first PAL Lance Mountain Future Primitive board, and really discovered skate videos and like that you could do tricks, and started actually trying and becoming obsessed with it.
And like your interest for videos, I mean, we'll get into that in a minute, but did that also begin very early on, like the interest for how to make videos, or did that come a bit further down? Like, were you more obsessed with skating at first, and then eventually filming kind of took more place, I guess, or?
They kind of went hand in hand. Watching those PAL videos, we watch them over. I'm pretty sure like I wore out the VHS tapes. Like, you know, you only had a couple videos, and you'd watch them over and over every day before you go skate and things. And my dad was always into gadgets and electronics, like, and he had one of the early like over-the-shoulder VHS cameras, you know, that still weren't super common at that time. And he had a super primitive editing deck that you could add titles. Like you'd hook like the camcorder to a VCR and then plug this title thing, and you'd have to film it in real time. There's no no editing or rearranging, or like, you know, the pause record and push the button to I think I was just like experimenting with that stuff pretty early on. And early on, it would just be put that. I mean, you couldn't skate with that, but he would let me put it on a tripod out front. We had like a launch ramp, and we just like, you know, my friends would just do circles. You know, just going off the launch ramp, and just have like the camera recording hours of, you know, just doing whatever. But and then when I graduated high school, with the graduation money I bought my first like high camera, or 8mm camera, and then that's when it really started. You started filming your friends, and eventually making your own videos. Yeah. We'll talk about this some more in a minute, but I have another thing from Anthony that he wanted to ask about. He said, ask her about the time we decided to drive to Vancouver to check out Slam City Jam. We drove straight there and all took shifts on driving. So do you remember what year that might have been? Not sure when those competitions were happening. Was that late 90s maybe, or? Yeah, it must have been, if I had to guess, 99 or 2000. Okay. Yeah. Anthony, Van, and I, drove my Civic up there like nonstop, just to probably about a 24-hour drive. Wow. And I think that was one of our first like adventures like that. Mm-hmm. I think actually the year before I'd gone out, the first year, I think 1998 was the first year I went there. Rookie Skateboards sent me out. It was the first time on an airplane, and meeting so many people. That was an amazing experience. The Slime City Jam contests were so much fun.
Yeah, they sure seemed like it. Yeah, I remember who was telling me about them. Rose Archie. She told me about these not long ago. She told me how influential it was for seeing you and other people over there was very, very influential for her at that time. She was probably a teenager when she went there the first time. So yeah, it must have been a pretty cool experience, definitely.
Yeah, those were amazing times.
Was Anthony already shooting photos at that point, or did that come later in his?
No.
Okay.
No, he. I think I probably met Anthony when he was about 10 or 11 years old. We grew up in the same city, and we would. Yeah, I think we. Yeah, skate. Probably lived about 2 miles away, and we'd skate. I laugh about that now. I look back at some of these old videos, like we were skating. I mean, we were with his little brother who was even younger, and we were going to spots and skating gaps into like the street and stuff when we were so little. Yeah, it's funny to look back now. We have kids the same age or older, and it's just interesting to look back. How much things have changed.
All right. Well, you just mentioned rookie skateboards. I have a question from Catharine Lyons. I'll read you what she said. She said, Lisa is one of the nicest people on earth. With rookie and on all our adventures, things were pretty often chaotic, silly, raucous, maybe not so well planned. Lisa was eternally and reliably a calm, steady presence. She never seemed fazed by the disorder. Or maybe she was really good at hiding it. Either way, so very nice to have her on the team. If I'm remembering it right, and highly likely I'm not, I think she was working at Home Depot when she first started skating with Rookie. Maybe you could ask her about that job. Probably not so extraordinary for someone in Southern California, but at the time, pre-Home Depot in Manhattan days, I found it fascinating. I imagine her driving forklifts. Did she drive any forklifts?
It's been a long time too. Wow,
I dug deep.
You did. Home Depot. It was actually called Home. It started at Home Club, and then they changed their name to Home Base. But it was like equivalent of a Home Depot.
Okay.
But yeah, I think I started that job in high school. I think it was about when I was 16. Just one of my friends had got a job there. So and I believe I was the youngest person there to get my forklift license. And, and I think I worked there for about 7 years through high school. And actually the general manager at the home base, his wife worked human resources at Vans. And it was right at the time where they were having talks about opening the first Vans skate park. And everybody there knew I skated. I mean, I skated to work. I think it was about 3 miles each way. I would skate to work after school. Mm-hmm. And I'd always have my skateboard in the break room or whatever. So everyone knew I skated. Yeah. And so when he heard about that, he told his wife, like, "Oh, you need to hire Lisa." So I think I was the first person hired for the Vans skate parks. I started that.
What were you doing over there? What was your job when you first started working at the skate park?
Just like a frontline manager, like checking people in, and I believe I taught some lessons as well.
Let me have you listen to this one. Let's see.
Are you drinking a soda right now? And how many Mountain Dews do you think you've drank over the years? What got you into filming? Was it when you started skating? Lisa Whitaker, thank you. You have done so much for skateboarding. Love you, Whitaker.
Jaime Reyes will be happy to know that I'm drinking a water right now. Actually, I don't know. I don't ever remember drinking Mountain Dew. It's always been like Coke or Dr. Pepper. But okay. She has a memory of Mountain Dew. Maybe that might be possible, but I think it's usually a Coca-Cola or a Dr. Pepper or my weak spots for sure. have been for several decades. Haven't been able to kick that habit yet. And I think we kind of talked about the skating and filming kind of just almost starting pretty close around the same time.
All right, let's see. Oh yeah, another audio one.
Hello, Lisa. It's Natalie from the Women's Skate History Archive. First up, I just wanted to thank you for all your dedication over the years to skateboarding and documenting the progress of women and non-binary skaters, whether it was through your website, film projects, and now as the owner of Meow Skateboards. I was enjoying some of your DIY videos from the early 1990s, like What, 911, and the Wonder Years, and I was a big fan of your website, The Side Project. I was hoping you could talk about the importance of DIY skate-related initiatives, whether it's through film, zines, or websites. Why do you think women skaters have had to be so creative and motivated to create a community? Thanks again, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, the work Natalie's doing is amazing.
It is, yes.
All this stuff is so time-consuming, and definitely all passion projects, but I think it's like a team effort to move things along.
For sure.
And also, I always thought I was a pretty big skate nerd, and I thought I knew most of the history, especially like the women's skate history. I was so hungry for any of that content that I could find. I thought I had pretty good knowledge until Natalie came along.
Yeah.
And the stuff that she's discovered, and I'm learning all the time about people that I didn't know about, and more of the history, and that's thanks to Natalie's work.
Yeah, it's very cool what she's doing.
Yeah, I think there's always just been, I guess I always just had the mindset, if there's, something that I wanted and wasn't out there, it's always better, instead of just complaining about it, just
create it yourself.
Yeah, if you had the means to, just fill that void and, make things happen.
She mentioned the side project. I from my understanding, that was what eventually became the Girl Skate Network, right? Was that kind of the previous version of that?
Yeah, I think that started around 2003. Yeah, and the internet was fairly new, but I was just curious. I had found a program where you could build like a basic website, and I was just curious and just playing around with it, trying to learn. And then I needed content to build this test site. I wasn't really even setting out to, I didn't have this plan beforehand. I was just learning how to do it. And just the content I had on my computer was, photos and videos of my friends I'd been filming. And I started putting those together, and I think the side project just came up on a whim. Like, it was my little side project. And I've told this a few times, like, I never expected anyone to see it. Like, I thought I would just send it to a couple of my friends, that had content in it. But I think the internet was still so new. Like, you didn't really have to do, like, SEO optimization and fighting for the traffic or whatever. Like, there was nothing out, there was so little still just skateboarding or like women's skate related. So I guess it must have just came up easily on searches, and I started getting messages from girls around the world who had found it, and just how much it inspired them and different things. So once I started receiving those messages, and I was like, oh, this
is gaining traction and interest, and I
got to keep this going. Yeah. But then somewhere along the line, I think I changed the name so that it'd be more easily discoverable in searches. Like, if people are looking for girls skate content, like that the name would be easy for people to find.
Okay, so I have two questions from this person, which are kind of separate. So I'll play you the first one.
Hey, Lisa, I've got a couple questions for you. The first one is about your camera and editing gear. Back when we first met in the mid-90s, you had, from my perspective at the time, a really nice Hi8 camera, Hi8 deck, and video graphics generator. And I just want to know, how did you know what gear to get at that time? I had no idea at the time of really anything of that quality, or would have had no idea how to use it. So not only who put you onto it, but how did you learn to use that stuff? Because I was always in awe of the videos you made back then.
Colin.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? I'm trying to think. I don't know where I found out. There was a Video Maker magazine.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
Okay. Yep. So you found some instructions in there, some advice?
Well, I'm pretty sure that's where I just like probably saw an ad for a camera, or just went to a local camera store and talked to someone there, and then to figure out what what I could get in my budget, and then also just know like all the videos were made analog, so it was like pause, record, connecting two to each other. But they used to, right when you would unpause and it would record, it would leave these little there would be like a split second of little glitch, or like it would put a rainbow effect.
Oh,
kind
okay.
of just for a split second. But
Yeah.
it was that was one of the things with the pause record. And I don't know. I just remember reading or learning about something like if you get a VC, like there was special VCRs that had something called like a flying erase head, and then with that type of VCR, you wouldn't get that rainbow. Like it'd be a smoother transition.
Okay.
And I remember learning that. And I think it's funny. I think that VCR cost about $300, and I got a line of credit at the local store to buy it on payments.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't really. I guess most of that stuff I must have learned from that magazine, and then it was, as far as like, I think it was just trial and error.
Yeah.
Just playing around with it. And
were there any other filmers around you at that time? People that, this question was asked from Colin Kennedy, who is a great filmmaker himself. And I don't know if he, maybe at that time he was just skating and not necessarily filming yet. But do you remember maybe one of the first people you met that was very influential in filmmaking, maybe techniques, or just, gave you some good advice or showed you how to use some equipment? Like, was there someone that was very influential in those early stages?
I think the first person I saw that was actually like making videos and like editing, kind of showing what's possible, was Mark Nisbet. He was doing like filming a lot of Long Beach guys making the 5-weight videos.
Okay.
So they were, Mark was the first one I saw like actually making full videos and stuff of like the crews and stuff.
And so you could kind of get some advice from him and like suggestions on editing or filming and stuff like that?
I was probably too shy back then. I don't even think I asked anything. I just watched the videos and I
just learned it by doing it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do the second one from Colin.
This next one is about you as a company owner. From what I can remember, when we used to go skating and filming and would hang out when we were younger, we never really discussed owning a company or a brand. That just wasn't something that came up. So when did it happen for you? When was the moment that idea popped in your head, or that idea seemed like a reality or seemed like something you wanted to pursue? Because at the time that you started Meow, we weren't in contact a lot. So it was just like one day I had heard that you owned Meow, and I had no idea kind of when that originally started to take shape. So I would love to hear that story.
I think Meow started kind of almost just like the same as a side project, or, at that point, I think like after Vans, I worked at Network 17, which was one of the first skate shops that had an online store, and I would do the customer service and ship out orders there. So I learned that, and then from there did a little bit at like Black Label and Destructo, and then ended up then I was at Destructo for over 10 years and did a little bit of everything. After Network 17, it was Giant Skateboard Distribution, and then where I just I was always curious and learning, and I would, I think I started as a receptionist, but I would always take on, if I didn't like, sales, can I help like enter these orders? Or each department I would, if there was anything I could help with, I was always curious to learn. And I think that just ended up helping me because I got a little experience in every, some with accounting, some with, sales, and some with, so I unintentionally got a little, almost like my business school.
Sure.
And then, worked a couple other places. I think I was still at Destructo at the time. And there, again, one of those bubbles where it seemed like things were happening. And, I think, Vanessa had a pro board on Element. Amy had a board on Pop War.
That's right.
And there was a couple, Alyssa had a board. There were things happening, and they were getting some support and doing some traveling things, but then there was a crash, and things were cut, and so there weren't that many opportunities around that time. And I'd go to a lot of these like top events. There was only like one or two big events a year, like X Games or things like that, and out of these like women, there were maybe like the top 10 women in the world or something. Like very few of them actually had a board sponsor or support at that time. And it was actually I never had the idea or really desire to make a board company, but it was actually my husband's idea. He had worked at Crimson, Chris Mark's company, and that was over. And then just at one time, we had a tax refund. It was like, hey, wouldn't it be fun, like, start a little company?
Start something, yeah.
And I was like, no. But then once I got to thinking about it more, it's like, could do something extremely small just to support my friends. Just something like my friends and I could do. And at the time, it's not like they had a lot of other opportunities, so it wasn't like, holding back. And the same thing, technology had came along at that point where you could build websites a lot easier and like a web store easier. So I was always curious of learning that stuff. So it's like, this is a little thing, like I can make this. So, it just started extremely small, and I never had the intention of like trying to cold call skate shops or try to pressure. It's like, we'll just do a small thing for us and just on the side and just a little thing. And that's how it started, and it just slowly, organically grew to the point where then I had skate shops calling, asking for stuff, and same with distributors, and everything happened organically as it grew over time, and it just, it was all organic.
Yeah, that's right. Well, speaking of Meow, I have a couple of questions from some team writers. So I have a question from Christine Cottam. So she asked, where did the idea to name your company Meow come from? And she also asked, is there any specific moment or experiences that you and or others around you experienced that pushed you to create Girls Skate Network / create a platform and space for women's skateboarding? And we kind of touched a little bit on that second question, but could you tell us about coming up with the name Meow?
That's always, it seems like one of the hardest things when starting a company is coming up with the name.
Yeah, for sure.
So we had the idea to start it, and I was like, okay, we need to come up with the name. And it was just brainstorm sessions with like Amy, Caron, and Vanessa Torres, and just throwing out a whole bunch of names. And for some reason at that time, a bunch of my friends were just saying meow to each other, like instead of hello. It was just like a weird thing. I was like, meow. And it was just like, at that time, that was just what it was.
People were doing.
And I remember it was just kind of like, I thought it was just like our crew kind of saying that. And then once we kind of settled on a name and like started, everything was working behind the scenes to get it all set up, but nothing had been announced yet or anything. And I remember hearing that name so much after that, like a bunch of the girls in Australia, I saw like, I forget what social media it was at that time, but I heard like, they were posting meow meow to, and I had to reach out to one of them. It was like, hey, does this mean does this mean
The same?
what?
Or, yeah.
Yeah, like what are you using? Like, make sure it didn't have another meeting that I didn't know or something. Like, no. Then a couple of contests even before we announced it, like the announcers on the mic, I heard like maybe Skate Park at Dampa or Border guys, like, like at a Maloof Money Cup or something, and like heard them meow meow meow, and like at that point it hadn't been announced yet, but it was just like, I don't know, something that was just going around at that time.
Okay.
Yeah, and stuff with the website and like the motivation, I guess we kind of talk about. But watching, I think it was special to me because like watching videos like the PAL public domain and seeing Anita Tennyson, like doing a kickflip or something, like that was so impactful on me because there was no content.
Yeah.
So I think knowing how impactful that type of content was for me and how hungry I was for it definitely helped
push you. Yeah.
Push me to make that content available for like the next generation.
And just coming back to Meow for a second, but were there ever, before Meow, were there ever kind of similar board brands with women on the team and stuff? Did you hear about any other brands that were kind of doing that?
Yes. I mean, of course, Rookie Skateboards was hugely influential, and just so honored to be even a little part of that. And what Catherine and Elska were doing was like so ahead of its time, I guess. So yeah, seeing them was interesting. And then there was Mimi Noob and Cara-Beth Burnside had Hoopla skateboards.
Yes,
through Skate right. One. There was another small company around here, Silly Girl Skateboards. And before that, in between like Rookie and them, there was a company called Cherry Skateboards that was early on. Mm-hmm. But I think at the time when I started Meow, Hoopla and like Silly Girl were pretty heavily transition oriented.
Oh,
and I was skating with mostly like the street
skaters
crew.
Yeah.
So it's like
not quite the same vibe or aesthetic or
we were, and it was just like everyone just didn't fit on one team, but what Hoopla was doing was awesome.
You mentioned Rookie. Was it only women on Rookie, or were there also a couple of guys on the team?
There was guys on the team too. I think it was women owned, and I think it started out with women on the team, but then it expanded and was mixed.
Okay, yeah, that's how I remembered it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have another team writer of yours that asked a question. Let's see.
Hello, Lisa. This is Nanaka. I'm really happy we are able to communicate like this. Thank you so much. My English isn't perfect, but I'd love to ask you some questions. What made you choose the original member of the Meow team when the brand first started? And what kind of team do you hope Meow team will become in the future? I'd love to come to the US for another tour sometime soon. I can't wait to see you, Lisa. Thank you always for your support. Take care. Thank you. Bye.
She's the best.
Very sweet. Yeah. So who were the original members? It was Vanessa, right? Amy?
Yeah, Amy and Vanessa, definitely. I mean, they were the ones I was skating with the most. Mm-hmm. And they had both had pro models and careers before that just, when the economy collapsed, just, things dropped off. So they still had like a fan base and people, behind them. Like, so I just wanted like to create something with them. And they were just my friends that were just hanging out. It was just, and then, Kristen Eveling was on the original team as well. She's up in Seattle, and just, again, someone we'd known and had always, she submitted video footage for the Villa Cola Getting Nowhere Faster video. Like, we put out like a call to submit, and like we had a little section where people like had submitted footage. So we had met her through that, and she was doing great things with Skate Like a Girl. and was just always filming street footage. And I think when we originally started, we also had Jen Soto.
Oh yeah.
In New York, but that was very short-lived. I think she got on something else right after, which actually ended up working out because shipping to New York is extremely expensive, and at that time we did I don't know if we would have been able to afford that.
Yeah.
And then Marissa Martinez was just a local.
Yeah,
around the
Mama Skate on Instagram, right? I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So she was local, I think. Yeah, one of the first person I gave boards to, but I'm pretty sure that was like the initial
roster
what we launched with. Yeah.
And what about the second part? Like, what kind of team do you hope Meow will become in the future?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess keep kind of continuing as is, just finding and growing with people who found that, the skating and the personality. And I think we have like such an awesome group of people that all get along well, and kind of we've done a couple trips and it's just like, this is just the best group of people. And I'm always excited when we're able to get distribution in other places, we're able to support writers globally as well. That's been an awesome part, and I hope that continues to grow.
This is Alex. I have my question for you. Is what do you miss most about filming Vanessa, Amy, Leo, the crew? And what do you miss least about it? Love you.
High energy, Alex White.
I miss those days where it just felt like you had so much time. Just go skate with no plan for hours, and just having so much available, and everyone kind of like having available time where you're just able to just skate all day and hang out all day. It's definitely a lot trickier planning sessions with everyone's schedules now, and restrictions. The carefree, just going out without a plan and just having fun and take the time. Those were the best.
A little harder to do now. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. I have a question here from Shane Auckland. He said to ask you, what is your favorite Star Wars character if you had to choose?
Ooh. Let's see. I was never a huge Star Wars fan, but my son is. So by default,
you have to be.
I became. I like the Ewoks. They're cute.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But Shane shares the Star Wars love with my son.
With your son? Okay.
They've had a couple of lightsaber battles.
I have a couple questions from Ron Resurrection. So he asked a couple things. He said, "Do you still have ferrets?"
No, I do not. That was a long, long time ago. I think that's what I bought with my first home base check, and I think you're actually not. They're illegal in California, I believe. And I found them in like some newspaper and met some guy behind a grocery store to buy some ferrets.
Oh wow!
They were awesome.
How long were they living with you?
I mean, that was like 30 years ago. My memory's not. Probably 3 to 5 years or something, I would guess.
Okay. Well, that made an impression. Someone else asked me about.
Yeah, they were a very unique pet to have because they were.
Yeah, it's not the most common. Yeah. Ron also asked, "Do you still own an extensive collection of skate videos?" We didn't mention it earlier, but do you still own like your old VHS tapes from back in the day? Did you keep those, or did you kind of get rid of those at some point?
Yeah, I think the second time I moved with I had a lot of VHS. Like I would get. I mean, once I started that's pretty much why I started working young, is so I'd have money to buy skate videos and skate and boards. But yeah, they just took up so much room. Like I had to, and then by the time like DVDs came around, and then I just had these boxes and boxes of VHS, and even the DVDs ended up taking. I think at one point, I gave a whole big box of VHS and DVD to Nora. I think she took them to the welcome office, and kind of sad to let them go, but then also like a lot of them you could find some online, and I hadn't watched them in so long, and they're just the VHS are probably they're slowly losing their quality over time. So if you hang on to them, they might not even be able to watch them. And I always had this grand idea of like digitizing them all and putting it, but I think I realized that was never going to happen. The amount of time to get all those, but I don't know what ended up. I don't know where they are now, but there was a pretty big collection.
Ron also asked, does the skateboarding world know that Lisa used to wear gigantic pants like the rest of us? We're talking Genko size pants.
Yeah, I think like the summer, I remember the summer that Plan B, is it questionable or virtual reality? I think it was whichever one was first. I think it was questionable. Like the summer that video came out, we'd watch that video all summer, and that was like the big pants, a height of big pants, small wheels. And I think so I think it had saved up, and like for some I have back to school clothes and stuff. I think I was at that time I was probably like 98 pounds, and I had like size 34 or 36 pants.
Oh my god.
And like double XL t-shirts. like the pants like would droop so much in between the belt loops that I had like fold them over and staple them. And I was so stoked. I remember because it was kind of like the video, I had been watching skate media and stuff like all summer, and like, oh, this is cool. I got, these like giant blind jeans, purple blind jeans or fucked pants. They're big deals. I don't know. But I remember like the first day of school, there was only about like 3 or 4 people that skated in my school. And I remember like the first day of school, I think it was like just walking in to school, like thinking all like cool with and just like everybody in the hallway like stop and like looking at me like what
are you wearing?
Like what is she wearing? Like oh, not everyone dresses like I was in the skate world and just feeling so awkward. But actually I think I filmed a clip of Ron Resurrection. I think that was the first. And it was in one of the Channel 1 video. I think that was the first video clip that was used in like a skate video.
Oh, wow. Okay.
One of the clips I filmed of Ron.
And he also asked, when is 911 Part 2 coming out? Said it was one of the first homie videos you made, and Anthony Acosta had some footage in that.
Yeah, I think that was the second video I made. Second or third. Like I just made videos with my friends, and we need to start working on volume 2, I guess.
In 2025, 30 years later. All right. Amy Caron asked a couple questions as well. She said, Lisa, what is your go-to sandwich?
My go-to sandwich? My favorite is like plain bagel with cheese, lettuce, tomato, avocado.
Can't go wrong with that, yeah. And how many beanies do you own?
I think only 1 or 2 now, but I think I went through... There must have been probably at least a 5-year period where I wore a beanie every single day.
Even in like the warmest days of the summer, you would...
Hottest day of summer, I was wearing a beanie.
Wow. Okay.
I couldn't skate, like it kept my hair out of my eyes.
Oh yeah,
and
sure.
I don't know why I did. I laugh now because I don't know. Somehow I just became like accustomed to it, and like I didn't even feel hot, and people would be like, "What?" I didn't feel hot. This, yeah. But now, I haven't worn for a couple. Probably longer than a couple of years. It's probably been about a decade since I've been wearing the beanie every day. But like now, I wear one. I was like, how did I do that? So, yes, I went through a heavy beanie phase.
All right, let's see. I have one from Cara-Beth Burnside. I said to ask you about that one time we did an all-girls road trip to shoot and film skating with Lindsay, Amy, Vanessa, Jen O'Brien, and others. We stopped and stayed at this hot spring resort. We needed some help with something at our campsite. This dude rolls up into our RV with socks and shoes on, but was completely naked. So funny. Lindsay is like 13 at the time, and she drops to the floor when this dude came in. Do you remember this story she mentioned?
Yeah, we were...
So what year would that have been? Like...
Probably early 2000s sometime, and...
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was for another one of those Fuel TV shows, like we were filming a road trip. Maybe, I can't remember if we did a couple of them. I can't remember. It was probably going up to Slam City Jam, so we were like filming the road trip up to Slam City Jam. Or wait, no, if we went to Sedona. Oh no, there was a couple different ones, but this particular one, Jen and Cara-Beth were very into like, health and nature and hot springs and different things. So we're on like a week-long trip, and we have like these super hyper kids, Amy and Vanessa. They're like street skaters, and Lindsay. But then like Jen and Cara-Beth would make sure to sideline to like go to a hot springs or something like along the trip. Mm-hmm. And I think this particular one we didn't know, but I guess it was like a nudist one.
Okay.
So I think that we didn't really know, like we pulling it, and I think like the pilot light went out in the RV or something, and we weren't sure how to do it, so they had asked for help, and they were going to send someone over, and this guy, we just like hear a knock, and we open the door. Lindsay was super young, and like we just weren't expecting that to answer. Like it was just hilarious. Like, it was hilarious. And he just came in, was like bending down, like lighting the fire. We were just like
acting completely normal, just like and
like totally. But
wow,
yeah, that was hilarious.
Let's see. Shari White asked, "What is your favorite part about skating in the '90s that you feel might have been lost for the youth of today? And then, what is the best thing you see the youth have gained that you didn't have in the '90s?"
I think social media is a double-bladed sword, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm always appreciative that I grew up before, social media.
Yeah.
That, I wasn't looking at my phone. I was just like out with my friends and didn't have any worries about that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. But then there's also like the plus side of it is like now, through social media, I see like the connections that so many of these girls get to, build lifelong friendships and connect with people around the world. And that part of it is great. So yeah, there's definitely pluses and minuses of both.
Yeah. I was just wondering, like we were talking about your son earlier. Does your son have like a smartphone? Is he using social media, or do you try to how do you say, like not prevent him, but just not kind of have him get into that too early in his life? Or
yeah, I mean, I think he has one of our old phones that's just for like Wi-Fi, where he plays some games on it if we're traveling, and he sends his grandma, like family could text him a couple messages, but he doesn't use, and he doesn't have
like an Instagram or like a TikTok or something, or
no.
Okay.
He wants to be a YouTuber though, but
okay. We'll see if that happens. Yeah. I'm just asking. I don't have children, but I have 3 older sisters who all have children, and some of them are teenagers, and they're really struggling with how they're using social media and stuff. And it's like you said, it's a double-edged sword. It's and at that time especially, it can be very, very toxic and dangerous and stuff. So it's it must be very tricky for parents to decide what to do, not to do, and it must be difficult. But yeah, there are some plus sides, of course, but yeah, it's the negative sides are just so bad that it's it's a little tricky.
Yeah.
All right, let's do this next one.
Hi, Lisa. This is Kim Woozy. I've always admired how you've been able to do so many things so humbly and modestly, like starting Meow, running Girl Skate Network, being a mom, having a family, just being a good and nice person while balancing all those things. I'm curious, what do you think is harder, raising a child or wrangling skaters? We always joke that being a TM or having to coordinate skaters to do something together is kind of like herding cats, and it's definitely not an easy task. But I'm curious, now that you've raised Dylan, what is actually harder, being a real mom or a mom to a bunch of skaters? All right, hope you're well. See you soon.
Yeah, definitely. Years of wrangling the cats definitely helped prepare me
for motherhood.
But I think it's easier with the skaters because you do a trip or you do certain days and then you go home and have downtime. Yeah, parents 24/7.
Yes, for sure.
But it's the best. He's awesome.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I have so I reached out to Van Nguyen. Is that how you say him? Yeah. She sent me a bunch of questions, like I think 15 or something, like a lot. I think they're all super interesting. So I was reading them like, damn, this could be the whole interview. Like, so
she's one of my oldest friends.
Well, yeah, you can tell. So what I'd like to do is just do a couple of them, and I'll just send you the rest after all this. Like I can send you everything I received, and let's see, which ones did I highlight? Oh yeah, so the first one is I've always called you the mayor of skateboarding, even back in Norwalk at that mani-pad across from the police station. You were someone everyone knew and trusted. Did skateboarding feel like a form of leadership for you even then? Have you ever thought about channeling that into something like civic leadership or social politics?
I definitely never felt like leadership or anything like that to me. It's just skating with my friends. And
you never wanted to be a self-proclaimed leader or something? Yeah.
No. And I usually don't. I mean, this is way out of my comfort zone, even doing an interview like this. I'm a behind the scenes person, and
yeah. You don't like to be in the spotlight.
No.
So you're not going to run for mayor or president anytime soon. Okay.
Definitely not.
Well, completely different question, but I thought it was interesting. She said, we watched Kids together as teenagers, and it seriously traumatized us. Looking back now, do you think it captured something real about how exposed and unprotected young girls actually were at that time?
Wow, I have a horrible memory, and this is a long time ago, so I don't remember how that impacted me. I think it impacts me more now that I have a kid and kind of look back at some of the stuff, and I think about some of the situations that I was in. So it's like, wow. I mean, I think I definitely lucked out because I always had good people around me, and I think mostly everything was positive. But I look back at things now as an adult and realize like some of this was like, wow,
that was not normal, or that was sketchy,
and things that were normal back then, and things that were like wow, I would never do that now, or I'd never put myself in those situations now. But but luckily, like the friends I had around me, like I had a good group of friends, and pretty much stayed out of trouble.
Let's see. She said, at some point I drifted, moved away, tried different careers, but you stayed local and became part of the backbone of skateboarding. when did you realize you weren't just passing through the industry, you were building a life inside it?
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting one, yeah.
Yeah.
They're all fantastic questions. I mean, she should do a podcast.
Van's awesome. Yeah, one of my oldest friends. And like one of the first girls I ever skated with that was actually like, there was maybe two other in high school, but Van was the first one I met where we actually was in it as much as I was. And
yeah, we're feeding off each other's energy and motivating each other.
Yeah. It was never a plan, never intentional. It just happened.
Mm-hmm. We were talking earlier about like the jobs you were doing when you were in high school and coming out of it and stuff. And but did you have plans at that point when you were like coming out of high school and stuff? Did you have ideas of what you wanted to do? Did you think about stuff you might end up doing if skateboarding hadn't occupied such a large part in your life?
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're a kid, just like, oh, what are you gonna be? I always loved animals, so I was like, oh, veterinarian or like a pet store, or like I don't know, like and I think I was pretty fortunate. I'm pretty sure like the only job I really ever applied for was the first one at the hardware store. And then, that led to, the Van skate park, which led to, the skate shop. I think I was filming Anthony Acosta at that time, and he got sponsored by the shop. So I was always at the shop. Mm-hmm. And then, I was working at Vans and then ended up working there. And then through the shop, I met like the people at Giant Distribution, and then like that led to like Giant Distribution. Then when I was at Giant, met John at Black Label and Gary at Destructo, which led a little bit there, and then Destructo for all those years, and then to Meow. Mm-hmm. So it's like one led to another, and it just like happened organically and wasn't really intentional.
Yeah. You weren't intentionally like thinking, I want to be in the skateboarding industry, I'll do whatever it takes kind of to stay in this or like...
But it's just, I love skateboarding and I love being around skateboarding. I love so I think it's just a passion that's fed everything.
I have a last one from Van. She said, running Meow Skateboards is real work, logistics, pressure, responsibility. What do people romanticize about owning a skate brand that they don't actually understand?
How little time you actually get to skate when you're running a business. It's sure. Like, oh yeah, why do I do this to be in skateboard? And then like doing the actual business, then you get less time to actually be skating. Mm-hmm. I think a lot more time than some may think involved in making everything happen.
All right. I have a question from Nicole Young, co-founder of Villa Villa Cola. So she asked, what do you see as your contribution towards the growth and popularity of women's skateboarding from the very beginnings to today?
Hi, Nicole. I guess some of the videos we made together, like the Villa Villa Cola video, like had like a huge impact on the time at that time. Yep. And that's something that like always look back on and different things we did that like really helped push things at that time, and always proud of that.
Do you remember how you first connected with the Villa Villa Cola people? Like it's Nicole and Tiffany, right? Who are the founders?
Yeah.
How did you first connect with them?
We met at the first all-girls skate jam in 1997. And then, I met so many people at that contest who are still friends to this day. And I think at that time they were doing their thing in San Diego, making zines and things. And then I was like in the LA area filming videos. And then, we started working together. They did a couple short videos for like school projects. Mm-hmm. And then it was years later, I was gathering a bunch of footage of the girls I'd been filming and wanted to make like a full length. And I thought it would be more just like a homey video, kind of like the others that I'd made. And at that time, I was also filming with a bunch of the guys I was skating with, and I would submit footage to 411 Video Magazine. So they would use some of those clips. But and one of the time, I think it was right about the time when they were switching over from VHS to DVD. And I think Josh Friedberg had asked me, I think I told him that working on video or some with the girls, and he said, had brought up the idea of like, oh, maybe we could do a DVD bonus section with footage. And like asked, so I ended up dropping off a tape, kind of what I had together already to give him an idea of what I had. And I think when he went to go watch that tape, Johnny Shilriff from Element was there. And they were both just blown away by the amount of girls and the level. Like most people hadn't seen a lot of that, and so they's like, oh well, let's forget the DVD bonus. Like we'll help you produce and distribute like a full video. But I was very much skate. Like I, just like a core skate video. But they had the idea that it'd be good to make it appeal to a wider audience and to have something else other than just skate. Like, I don't know if it's like interviews or skits, different things. And I think there had been like several documentaries at times. I definitely didn't want to do it documentary style. I wanted to make a skate video, but then ended up working with Tiffany, Nicole, Lori D, Faye, like the Villa crew. And they did the skits and animation to mix in between like the skate parts I was working on. And but yeah, it was just, we met at the first all-girl skate jam in 1997.
Perfect transition, because I have a question from Josh Friedberg. So he said, from my viewpoint, the progression of women's skateboarding globally has been the best thing that came out of skateboarding in the Olympics. I'm curious to hear Lisa's take on it as someone whose support of girls and women with exposure through her videos and brands for decades was instrumental in creating the Olympic opportunity in the first place.
Yeah, I think, like I said before, there was always ups and downs. And I think the biggest change this time around, which whether good or bad, the Olympics, I think the group that benefited the most from the Olympics is the women. In a lot of other countries, sport is funded by government. So once you have an Olympic sport, like funding goes into those. And for Olympic sport, it has to be equal men's, women. So, if they had skateboard team, like they had, funding had to go. So a lot of these young girls are getting opportunities that they would have never got before. And with those opportunities, that's why we've seen the progression that we've seen as, those opportunities were never there before.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's one of the biggest benefits of like that Olympic movement is those opportunities.
Let's see. I have just a few last ones.
Hi, Lisa. This is Lori D. I miss you. Okay, here's my question. You have been nonstop advocating for non-traditional skateboarders in so many ways since even before I met you almost 30 years ago. I would love to know what you have witnessed or learned in all that time that seems to have moved things forward and made skateboarding a more inclusive and more supportive family. I don't know if there is a specific thing you can point to as being really impactful, but I guess I'm just wondering, what advice would you give, if any, to other folks trying to advocate for their fellow humans? Sorry if this is like too big of a request, but I just really appreciate that you've used your life force this way for all these years, and I'm grateful to know you and to have seen you in action. So thank you so much, Lisa. We love you.
Oh, Lori D. Lori D is part of the Villa Cola crew too. Yep. She did all the animations and Getting Nowhere Faster. I think one of the biggest changes which helped there, again, it's social media. Was a big change, because before social media, to get any exposure, you had to rely on a company or a magazine, or I think, deeming something worthy and putting it in and, making those connections or so it was those opportunities were extremely limited.
Yeah.
I think once social media came around, different communities started forming and supporting each other, and I think there's little niches where not everyone, watching footage of someone skated 20-stair handrail, not everyone's looking for that. Like there's just a whole variety of things, and I think with social media there's a metric there where you could see like, oh, there's an interest in this, or there's an interest in these, and this is growing a community here.
Yeah.
And it's a tricky one because it also brings like the negative side, but there are a lot of positives, and that's one of the things that made the biggest change, I think.
All right. I have a question from Annie Guglia, part of Meow as well. She said, "Hi Lisa, thank you so much for being such an important enabler of women in skateboarding. Through Girls Skate Network, Meow, the side project, Getting Nowhere Faster, etc., you've created spaces and opportunities for other people that wouldn't have existed without you. On a personal level, I count myself in this. I've looked up to you since I was a little Quebecer coming to California for the first time at 16, and I'll always be grateful for everything you've done for me along the way. From filming me at Chino the first day we met to turning me pro for Meow 15 years later, I truly appreciate you, Lisa. You're the best. My question is, for women who are trying to build something meaningful in skateboarding, a brand, a community, a space, what is one thing you've learned that you wish you had known earlier?"
I don't know if it's really something I wish I knew earlier, because I've always I think consistency is key, and like it takes time to grow, and that would be like my advice to someone. But it takes time for grow, and the consistency is the key.
Yeah. I've been doing, for example, this podcast for 5 years, more or less. And there have been multiple times where I've felt, very, very motivated, like super stoked, but sometimes it's the exact opposite. Sometimes I'm like, why the fuck am I doing this? This is just pointless or whatever. Like, really doubting myself and even contemplating stopping. And I'm just wondering if I'm sure you must have at least at some point encountered situations like that with Meow or with the previous projects before that. But like you said, consistency is the key. And like, how do you manage to keep going even in moments that are like these lows that I'm kind of talking about? Like how do you pick yourself back up?
I think everything I've done is just, it's so part of who I am and what I enjoy to do that it hasn't, yes, there's times when you're more motivated or you'll get soaked to do, but I think it's just always been a pretty consistent thing in my life that it's just part of who I am. So,
you're going to keep doing it regardless of the outcome.
Yeah. I think if you're passionate enough about what you do, it has to be fun for you too. You have to. Yeah. If you're doing something for years and you lose the enjoyment out of it, I guess that's a different thing. But luckily, I haven't had that. I enjoy what I do. I enjoy getting to work with like a bunch of these amazing people who have like submitted these questions and going through years. It's kind of like my work, my friends, my life, it's all kind of like one, and I feel very, very fortunate for that.
She asked another question, Annie. She said, extra question, through your side projects and Meow being a full-on project, you didn't just support women, you changed the ecosystem. What do you think needs to change structurally in skateboarding so that the next generation of women, both skaters and women behind the scenes, can truly thrive without fighting the same battles?
I think things have been slowly changing over time, and I think as like the new generation comes up, then things will change. Like for the younger generation now, if they seeing a girl skate is not a big deal. Like they've just always grown up and seen like there's these amazing role models and people they looked up to, so it's not a big thing. So it's like I think that will change over time with those, but definitely would still I think there's been a lot of progress made with the opportunities for with the women, with the Olympics, and there's more opportunities even sponsorship wise and make a living outside of the contest realm now.
Yeah.
But I think the next step and things in UC is more women working behind the scenes. Would love to see that.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, we can wrap it up with this last question from Rose Archie. She asked a couple of things. She said, I would love to see more Meow boards in Canada. Please tell us how we can help make that happen. And also, I would love to take the time to invite you to the next Stop, Drop, and Roll. Vancouver misses you. Meow Demo 2026?
We might have to try to make that happen, Rosie. Very past due for a Vancouver visit.
Do you know when was the last time you were up there?
Whatever the last Slam City Jam was, probably early 2000s, probably, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have to try to make that happen.
What about boards in Canada? Do you have like a distributor in Canada or?
Yeah, Ultimate Distribution in Canada. We've had there's been kinks working out since COVID and like overstocks and understocks and but just had there will be Meow boards available through Ultimate Distribution very soon.
Well, hopefully she can find them at Antisocial.
Yes.
I'm sure Michelle is definitely a supporter. So, all right. Well, yeah, we can wrap it up here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Always so impressive your groundwork before these. Like, wow, there's many people there that I'm way past due for a catch up with. It's been a few of them. It's been a decade or two.
Yeah. Well, yeah, perfect opportunity to reconnect with these people for sure. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
That's it for my conversation with Lisa. Follow her on Instagram at LisaWHTKR. Follow Meow at Meow Skateboards and go watch and rewatch all of Lisa's videos. I'll put some links up on my Linktree page. Thank you for tuning in. See you soon for a new episode of Beyond Board.